Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Wavy Roy Johnson here.
This is the professional Nathan Cruz.
Yo, this is Man Like Reece.
Hi, this is Tom Thurber.
This is Veggie.
This is the Asian sensation Kanji.
This is the Nightmare Fuel Hassan Malone.
This is Joe Rage, the Heavyweight Classic.
This is Mad Dog O'Doherty.
This is Tonga.
I'm the Breaker, Carl Kingsley.
This is the infamous Cameron Solis, and you're listening
to
Broken but Glorious.
Broken but Glorious.
To Broken but Glorious podcast, because like me, you are head to toe a pro.
West has a very, very similar issue as well. There's an incredible amount of talent, but again, they're all sort of the same ones. So I like the idea. I like what we're doing, where we're mixing things up and you're getting some matches that you truly, truly haven't ever seen before.
Yes, I've been very impressed with Toby. I've seen him on Phenomenal Pro Wrestling. He's been on there a few times. And yeah, he's very impressive.
He entered our Overboard Rumble at number 1, and he was eliminated third from the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he lasted a total of about 50 minutes in that Rumble on his debut.
Oh, I bet the crowd took to him straight away then, because of how good he was in that Rumble. Yeah, it's a great crowd up at Morecombe. I still have images of the debut show with how loud they were.
Yeah, they've only gotten louder, honestly.
Mm. Yeah, Wrestle Island do something similar. They kind of have I don't think they have a working agreement with Sacrifice, but they do seem to have a lot of Sacrifice guys come up.
Mm.
Yeah, so
it's good just to create that difference and that uniqueness, and it really gives the fans value for money as well, because they're getting to see something interesting and new, and some new combinations and things, which I think is, always really, really good, and it gives everyone a chance to grow as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I remember interviewing Echo Reed, and she said it was just difficult to get out of that area because people didn't really want to pay travel expenses for people to go up. So it's good that you're getting people going up as far as Morecombe from Plymouth.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's it. Like, for me, it was a case of, well, I'm driving up anyway. I've got 4 of the spaces in the car. I might as well put them to use.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think with down here, like, you get, Devon is very sort of isolated. Cornwall's very sort of isolated. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of got your Bristol and your Gloucester and those sorts of areas. And it's all kind of, everything's little hubs.
Mm-hmm.
So, just kind of trying to break those out and get new people up there. And then in return, hopefully we'll see some guys from the Northwest in the Southwest as well. And really sort of lifting that thing, and I mean, again, we've got some, a couple of companies that I work for myself down here, one being Reach, another being CPW, who have got the potential to do something really quite special.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. CPW Cornwall.
Yes, Cornish.
Yeah. Cornish. Yeah. Oh, I need to look into. I always keep saying I need to look at more at the south of England, but I'm so absorbed with the Northwest scene, it's hard to. to branch out and watch more stuff when you watch so much already.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Right, so Ethan has joined us to promote Odyssey Pro Wrestling presents War on the Shore 2023, April 22nd at the Alhambra Live in Morecombe.
Yep.
Yes. 8 huge matches, 3 title matches, and personal rivalries in nearly every match, I think. Just like. Yeah. It seems like a WrestleMania type card because there's like all the rivalry seems to be ending, or not ending maybe, but it seems to be like.
There's quite big moments in all the rivalries at the next show, you could say. Yeah,
definitely. Should we start the main event? Well, I'll start with you. So your 2 year. I just remember from our first interview, and I didn't really know who Andre Dekker is, but that's just the hatred that keeps coming through your voice. I was like, but it's such a great character. And your feud for the last 2 years has been great, and how you brought in Chris Brooker, and he signed himself with him, and somehow he became co-general manager. Yeah, and then they've taken Ryan Hunter under their wing and got this. R&R, and it's a great little faction that they're getting together. But this should be a great, and a street fight as well.
Yeah, street fight as well. Oh.
You gotta be in your jeans, you gotta be proper street fight attire.
Oh, I mean, it's a street fight. You've got to dress appropriately for a street fight, don't you? Like
Jeans and cowboy boots.
just out the cowboy boots.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think with Dekker, as you say, it's been 2 years in the making. Like, Dekker has been a thorn in my side since before the first show. Like, not just for the first show, like beforehand. During the VIP meet and greet when he invaded that because he felt like he should have been signed.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. And then sort of attacking RPD over the subsequent shows, to which I gave him an opportunity when we ran our charity show in Blackpool. He threw that back in my face by attacking me, which then meant I couldn't attend the December show of that first year, which the board then put Chris Brooker in charge for the night because we needed someone to run the ship. I then returned at the first Overboard Rumble and took Rick Marcus's place, who Dekker had injured.
I remember. The cheer you got when you came out. It's like the biggest pop of the night.
That got me in trouble, which then led to Chris Brooker becoming co-general manager because I couldn't be trusted to do it by myself, apparently. And then just from there, Dekker's not let go of this problem that we have. Like, and, you know, the moment he sort of challenged me to this year's Rumble, I thought, you know what? You know, I got board approval this time, so I couldn't get in any more trouble. Yep. And the moment I got to eliminate him felt incredible.
Yes.
The slam on the floor I received after he came back in and eliminated me wasn't so incredible.
Slams are never pleasant.
On the dance floor as well, like,
people always ask me, do they hurt? I say, doesn't hurt. It just wins you. And just, it's unpleasant. It's just like,
there's no give on the floor, so it was just like, oh. But yeah, that was a fun 6-hour drive home afterwards.
I bet, yeah.
And then during a radio interview he did himself, he had the audacity, the gall to bring my family up into it and sort of say, like, you know, because I'm a parent, I've got 2 children, and to tell me how I was abandoning them to come and play wrestler. And, you know, being a parent yourself, like, there's some lines that you just don't cross.
No, definitely.
So that's kind of why we've gotten to this stage. Am I going in there to win a wrestling match? No. I'm going in there to fight someone. You know?
Batter Dekker.
Yeah, Batter Dekker. The bad boy himself. But that's, you know, it's a man standing up for his family at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. I can see the crowd just eating this matchup as well. Just that they must be so invested in like this going on since 18 months, 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, and then they get into storylines really deep anyway. Plus, to have 2 years of build, they must be can't wait for you to rip his head off.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope, you know, having the crowd on your side in moments like that makes like all the difference in the world. Like, I every time I'm about to step out that curtain, I'm not expecting anything from our fans, and to get the reception that I get every time that I come out in front of the crowd, I'm just an idiot that walks out and says some things on a microphone and makes a Chuckle Vision joke. You know, like they shouldn't cheer me like that. So anytime I get that, it's amazing. But yeah, it's not something I ever like, oh, here we go, listen to this. But, you know, it's I'm just a guy.
You brought Morecombe back wrestling after, was it 3 years of no wrestling? So it's like, I
mean, being the general manager, it sort of has made me the face of it. It's never been a solo effort. It's always been a big, but I guess I could see why they might think that.
And then your championship match is this is another one's been going. I think the fans fell in love with RPD from that first show, how amazing he was in the VIP photo shoots and stuff. So to him to finally get this championship match 1-on-1 against the former Mr. Morecombe, Hulk Hogan of Morecombe, we used to call him. Yeah, 1 year, like 1 year to almost to the day since he turned on the fans. So,
the first war on the shore under Odyssey Pro Wrestling. So the main event was Ryan Hunter versus RPD versus Andre Dekker in a triple threat match for the title, and Hunter joined the spotlight at the expense of RPD. And RPD is not a man that you want to upset like that. So he's definitely hunting him down. But, use the pun. But he's been hunting him down for 12 months, and he finally gets his hand on him. But this is RPD's first ever one-on-one title match. Yes, he challenged under the triple threat rules, but this is, one-on-one. This is his first one. But then again, he's taking on the only ever Odyssey Pro Wrestling champion.
Mm-hmm.
So, this could go absolutely either way. But the fans, I've made it very, very clear who they want to win. That moment when Ryan turned on the crowd last year, I honestly never thought we'd come back from that moment, just because of how popular he was. But RPD's just been absolutely phenomenal with the audience. They are really, really invested, and they really, really care for RPD.
Oh, he's still amazing. Before lockdown, he'd only wrestled a few matches, and he's only been training for a couple of months. So he's come straight out of lockdown and do what he did. He's done it ever since. He's champion in TNT Ignition now. He's number one contender at Wrestle Island.
I guarantee he's winning at least 2 more championships by the end of the year. At least.
Yeah, I think he just made his debut for Future Shock, and exactly.
He wrestled Anthony Gogo, he's wrestled Sam Gradwell.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking on the absolute best this country's had to offer, and looking like he belongs in there with them. And to say he's got a fraction of the experience, it's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we've also going to be crowning your first tag team champions.
Yes.
I think you couldn't pick 2 better teams, really. This is going to be a proper hoss battle. Yeah. Well, I still, one of my favourite matches was it 21? Was the TLC match?
Yes.
Yeah, my son was obsessed with that match. He's got to think he doesn't like Synergy, because Synergy are heels at TNT, and they always call him a loser. So he don't like Synergy. So see Synergy getting battered with ladders and tables and stuff, he loved it.
They got proper battered in that match as well, didn't they? It wasn't just they got battered.
Yes. So it's like a proper late 8 between these two.
I mean, these guys, it's not the first time these guys have wrestled.
No.
They've wrestled in Blackpool, they've wrestled in Morecombe, they've wrestled in Leeds, in Yorkshire, they've wrestled in Scotland, they've wrestled on the WWE Network, and Synergy lost every time.
Yes.
They've never beaten Reece Rogan, and, that's really sort of weighing on Synergy a bit, because, Anderson Daniels has been out for a few months with a knee injury, second round, it was Jack Roberts who was tagging with Troy Ryan. The third member of Synergy had come in, and you know what? They looked really, really hot. They really absolutely not breezed through, but there wasn't ever a moment where you didn't think Synergy weren't going to make this final.
No.
So with Anderson Daniels coming back in, there really is like a chip on their shoulder where they have to get this monkey off their back and actually beat Reece Rogan. But Reece Rogan had their number every single time. So, I think it really is a compelling match, because there's so many ways that this match could go. Are Reece and Rogan just gonna, do it again, become the tag team champions? Are Synergy finally gonna be able to defeat Reece and Rogan? Are Synergy gonna be trying so hard to defeat Reece and Rogan that they cost themselves? Are Reece and Rogan gonna end up getting themselves disqualified because of all the tactics they use with Chris Brooker? There's so many different elements to this match.
Yeah. I'm sure that the fans just don't want Spotlight to get more championships, and then it's to cut out the number game. I'll not be good for Synergy, because they could distract the ref.
And that's the thing. With up until the last show, I would have said, where we saw the American Bill Carter, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a minute. Mm-hmm. Synergy have been up there with RPD as one of the most popular acts in Morecombe.
Yes.
That the fans absolutely adore. The moment Ryan Hunter turned on them, when I was backstage, I had to send the Synergy lads out there to console some of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
that just love that much. So, you know, the crowd, it's very much a love-hate thing going on here. They absolutely love and adore Synergy. They hate Reece Rogan in a fire of passion.
Yes, definitely. Oh, so we're from a tag team hospital to a meaty singles man. This has got hospital written all over it. So we've got Craig Collin versus Rick Marcus.
Yes.
Unofficial number contenders match, maybe? This must be up there. So.
I would say it's definitely a match for legacy.
Mm.
You know, Craig is a legend in Morecombe already. You know, he's held titles in Morecombe before. He's wrestled against some of the very, very best in the country. You know, he's one of the best wrestlers, like one of the most underrated wrestlers in the entire country.
Yes, definitely.
Craig just gets it. He's incredible in the ring, but there's always been something sort of getting in his way. I always felt.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for Craig, this match really is about cementing his place in there with the legends of Morecombe history. You know, your Styxes, your Johnny Fears, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Whereas for Rick's had a tumultuous 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, injury and things have really gotten in the way for Rick. Like, every time he starts to get a bit of momentum, something pulled him back, you know. And I think he's desperate to prove himself, especially when his tag team partner is the hottest thing in Morecombe right now.
Definitely.
You know, so Rick feels like he's got something to prove. And, you know, he sort of said, like, look, if I lose again, I think that's it for me, you know, because he strives and craves to be the best. So, you know, this match really is all about legacy between these two guys.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it should be I'm really looking forward to this.
With a match. I mean, again, and let's not forget as well, you know, these are two guys who both hail from Barrow and Furness.
Mm-hmm.
They've wrestled each other time and time again. They know each other so well. So Morecombe are really, really in for a treat on April 22nd.
Yeah, that has advantages and disadvantages for Rick. You think, oh, I know this guy so well. I know everything about him. I know his weaknesses and strengths. But then Craig knows him so well as well. So it's
exactly. They know they sort of cancel each other out in the kind of knowledge for each other. You know, they're both very, very intelligent guys in the ring. They're both very, very passionate guys in the ring as well. So, you know, it can honestly go again. It's another match that can go either way. But it is going to be a match that definitely launches the winner towards the Odyssey Pro Wrestling Championship.
Yes. Then another championship match. You got your Odyssey Women's Championship. Aliexxis Falcon versus Jennie B. Jennie B became number one contender at the last show.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, like, again, these two have wrestled for this championship before. So I'm curious as to see what's going to be different this time. You know, because I think, if I remember rightly, Aliexxis Falcon's first title defense was against Jennie B. So, you know, these, as we were saying earlier, these are two people that know each other very, very well.
Yes.
Jennie B has defeated Aliexxis Falcon for a championship in Morecombe in the past. However, Aliexxis Falcon right now is one of the absolute best wrestlers, full stop, in the country.
Oh,
However, looking at Jennie B, you know, she's a very, very intelligent woman.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to have gone to another level at riling the fans up recently.
Yes, I can see that.
You know, they do not like Jennie B. And I think Jackie B as well has become even more vicious.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, Jack has always just been a nuisance. Whereas now he's actually quite vicious now. So, again, what factor does Jack play into it? You know, is Aliexxis Falcon just going to come in and go, well, you know, easy work, title defended? Or is Jennie B going to do something to surprise her? Because, you know, when Jennie B locked in that half crab on Leah Raven in February, that shocked the hell out of me, because it shows that Jennie is trying to improve her game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really curious to see kind of where it's going to go, because let's not forget, Leah Raven was very, very close to becoming number one contender until Jack sort of interfered and sort of swung the match back towards Jennie B. So I think Leah Raven's going to be looking on sort of curious about where this one's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, Aliexxis is top of her game at the moment, and yeah, Jennie B is amazing. We've got Lance Rivera. He got to choose his partner for this match. And he did pick me, somebody who took him to the limit in his Wrestle Island Championship match.
This is where I think Lance has fallen down, you say.
Yes. It lasted 45 seconds. I hit the head and the turnbuckle, he super kicked me. But
you've learned. It's only a mistake if you do it twice.
Yes. I'm sure next time we have a match it'll last 90 seconds, and after that it'll last 3 minutes. I'm 6 months better than I was back then. But he's went for somebody you know very well. It's Jason King, very experienced wrestler. I want to say a nice contrast to Lance's style, but they're both great talkers, both great in the ring. I could see Lance being very much like Jason when he gets into his 30s. So.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not for Lance. I think there's a chance he might come out of that a little bit more insulted than...
Nah. It's a compliment to Jason. He's a great guy, great wrestler. When I interviewed him, he talked for 45 minutes, and I think I asked him about 3 questions.
Yeah, that sounds like Jason.
I'd always, we got to the academy, and then, he just talked about the academy for 45 minutes. Then we haven't got time today. But this should be fun. So you got Alexander Gray and Toby Valentine versus Jason King and Lance Rivera.
Yep. And there is a special guest in the corner of Alexander Gray and Toby Valentine, yes. That being Simon Hill.
Yes, Lance and Simon have been having this feud all over the Northwest. But seems to be really focused on Odyssey, because how did Lance get back? He was suspended last time I talked to you. So. Yeah, so
he was suspended and sort of, I think he was suspended for about 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. And, Lance is he's got an attitude on him, but he's an absolutely incredible talent. Definitely. And you can't deny that. So, 6 months I probably felt was enough time for his suspension to be up. And I thought the Rumble, was a great opportunity to bring him back. And, I think he really did kind of show that by getting to the final 2 in the Rumble.
Yes, definitely.
I have had to suspend somebody because of Lance. In one of our referees, Logan.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, has sort of shown his true colours and revealed himself as a subject of the Playboy Prince. Yeah,
because Lance got got knocked off the apron and got caught by the referee, and the referee revealed his t-shirt, and he had a Lance t-shirt on underneath.
Yeah.
For the listeners who are not sure what we're talking about. So
I just sort of stood backstage, humped over in pain, because, and all I heard was, they said, wait, oh! And the fans getting really irate about it. And I sort of was like, what the hell? And I looked through and I saw James Greenwood and LK sort of shouting at Logan, and then him take his ref shirt off, and then, the fans sort of got even more irate, and then he turned round and I saw the Lance t-shirt and I was like, oh my god. So we had to suspend Logan, which I think Lance originally had told us that he wanted Logan to be his partner. He was quite upset when we told him that Logan, was suspended and it wasn't going to be Logan. And this match has come about because of Simon and Lance's beef, shall we say. These two lads from the Southwest are really sort of their manners are very, very good, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Toby stepping in to kind of defend Simon in that moment where Lance was, really quite intimidating him again. Alexander Gray, as well established in Morecombe that he's not a fan of anyone that he comes across as a bit of a bully. Let's not forget Alexander Gray actually holds a victory over Ryan Hunter. Yes. It's a qualification, but he does hold the victory over Ryan. So, and he stepped up and he took that match because of, he saw the spotlight and their antics and sort of thought they needed teaching a lesson. And that's exactly what Alexander Gray and Toby Valentine have done here, is they sort of seen Lance Rivera and seen his antics towards Simon Hill and sort of thought, well, no, this isn't acceptable. To which, as I say, Lance had his option for a partner. He tried to choose Logan, suspended. So he went to a man that Toby and Alexander Gray know very, very well, in Jason King, who has one of the best minds for professional wrestling in the country. Like, in that ring, he's a general. And because Jason isn't the tallest, he isn't the biggest, he isn't the strongest, but he's probably one of the smartest. So I'm really intrigued to see how Jason's going to use his brain for this one. Because, Jason stood in there with Toby or stood in there with Alexander Gray. They tower over him. So surely Lance would have picked someone bigger or stronger or, someone that gave him a bit of an advantage in the match, and he's gone for the brains. So I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen, what dynamic Jason's going to bring to the match. I'm interested to see if Lance is going to be able to focus on the match and not just focus on Simon the whole time. Because that has been Lance's problem in the past, where
Simon keeps putting them off. Of course, Lance.
Simon keeps putting him off. Simon, how dare Simon speak into a microphone like we pay him to? How dare he? It's going to be interesting, and I'm proud of Simon, if anything, because he's asked to be at ringside for the match, which after Lance tried to get to him in that show where we had to suspend him, that really shook Simon up. So, I'm really proud of Simon for actually, standing up and confronting confronting a bully like this.
Definitely. Do you think we'll ever get to a stage where we'll have Simon one-on-one with lads? So,
I guess that all does fully depend on if Simon was ever ready to get into the ring. We have a duty of care to the people that we put in that ring. And I think right now, if we were to put the two of them in the ring together, I don't think that would be very safe for Simon.
Definitely. So next we have the Freak Show Implode. So tell us the story behind this match.
So yeah, Will Carter, the story of Will Carter. So Isaiah Quinn, in his time coming into Odyssey Pro Wrestling, has looked to have this sort of tight-knit unit in the Freak Show. He added Mark Meltzer, who's now known as Sheriff Steele. But there was something just not quite clicking for the Freak Show. And Isaiah Quinn seemed to put that blame down to Will Carter. So anytime the Freak Show lost, it would be Will that would take the punishments. And there's been some really sort of disturbing footage, where, Isaiah Quinn feeding Will the Book of Isaiah for one instance. There was the time that Sheriff Steele literally yeeted Will Carter halfway across the ring. And I mean, we hosted the commitment ceremony at Isaiah Quinn's request at the last show. And Isaiah asked Will to pledge his life to Isaiah Quinn. And the noise when Will said no was one of the most insane things I think I've ever heard.
Yes, definitely.
And it's been building for some time. Like, the crowd have really been getting on Will's side. There's a bit of a club for Will Club, the We Love Will Club, that have really getting on Will on the side of Will Carter over the past number of shows. And as I say, the moment he said no to Isaiah Quinn, the roof from the Carlton absolutely lifted. It was absolutely insane. And, Quinn obviously didn't like that. And I think Will Carter is very much no longer in the Freak Show. And, after Will went on to the Rumble and eliminated Sheriff Steele and Nightmare, and then was later eliminated by Isaiah Quinn, Will wants Isaiah Quinn, but Isaiah Quinn's a manager, he's a wrestler. Anyone that knows Isaiah Quinn knows he's not cleared to wrestle. So Isaiah Quinn's put forward, and in a sort of Isaiah Quinn being the man that holds all the cards, the smart man that he is, has sent in Nightmare as the first opponent, or as his opponent, should I say, which, Will Carter was trained by Nightmare, that's how Will learned to wrestle. Will has tagged with Nightmare between Odyssey and KOW and Barrow. Will has never wrestled Nightmare one-on-one. I don't think they've ever been in the ring on opposing sides ever.
No.
So, this is a match where I kind of think Nightmare actually holds the cards with this one because, Nightmare will have taught Will everything he knows, but has he taught Will everything that Nightmare knows? So it's going to be really interesting. And it's very, very clever from Isaiah Quinn to select Nightmare to do this. But, you know, I do wonder what impact Isaiah Quinn and Sheriff Steele are going to have on the match, because it's 3-on-1 essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Will's got the support of the Morecombe crowd, so, you know, it might be 3 versus 250.
Yes, definitely. And the final match, we've got Sam Bailey versus Rob Drake. Another tag team imploding.
Not quite.
They seem together.
So this one sort of stems back to the fact that Sam's always believed that Rob is not working to his full potential.
Yes.
And wanted to lift Rob higher. You just had to listen to Sam. But Rob's sort of always been happy with how he's doing things and believes in his own path and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And Sam's sort of not one for taking no. Sam managed to organise that he and Rob compete in the Odyssey Tag Tournament together. They won their match thanks to Rob Drake doing all the work, and then Sam Bailey tagged himself in to come and take the pin. And then Rob Drake wasn't able to attend our last show due to COVID. And I think Sam had basically gotten what he wanted from Rob.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we're through, we've just got to beat these guys and then I'm in the final. Happy days. So he brought in one of his students in JJ Webb.
Yes, I saw that.
That obviously didn't go so well. It did create one of my absolute all-time favourite things, which is the Sam getting sent out of the ring videos.
Yes.
I absolutely adore those. Oh, they're so good. But yeah, Rob's back at this show, and I think he's got a bone to pick with Sam. And I think these two very much want to put this to bed now.
Definitely.
So again, it's how much has Rob learned over time, because these two have gone one-on-one before, and Sam was able to get the victory. You know, he worked on Rob's arm, he took him out, and managed to get the win. So, you know, is it going to be a case of history repeating itself, or how much has Rob learned in that time since?
Yeah, it's going to be a great match. It's two of the best workers in the, I was going to say in the Northwest, but probably in Britain. So
yeah, I mean, Rob's all over the country these days. Like, yeah. I mean, to be fair, so Sam, like, you know, Wrestling in Progress, Wrestling at Wrestle Carnival. You know, I think he appeared at Atomic Wrestling last night. Like, they're both absolutely everywhere at the moment. So these are going to be two very well-seasoned, well-travelled wrestlers performing in front of, you know, the best crowd in the country.
Definitely. Gutted I missed Atomic last night.
I've heard really good things about them. So, you know, the more places there are for people to work and hone their craft and just for everyone to have fun, like, the better.
Yeah, I've trained with the guys who run it a couple of times, and yeah, they're all great guys. So VIP tickets for Warren Shaw sold out. I'm guessing they sold out pretty much straight away.
I think by the next day, by the time I'd gotten back to Plymouth, we'd sold over half the front row VIP tickets.
Oh wow.
And then I think about 3 days later, I want to say, we completely sold out the front row.
Yeah, and limited general tickets left?
Yes, so general tickets are left. There is, I think, a capacity of about, I can't remember the capacity now, but I know that, you know, the tickets are flying, and I reckon a good half of those will be by RPD himself, because that man's a one-man selling machine.
Yes, definitely he's going to be in the title match as well. I can see more people tipping up for him. So. But yeah, general tickets still available from our website, odysseyprowrestling.co.uk. If there's any left, they will be available on the door, but I genuinely, the way they're flying out at the minute, I wouldn't risk that. No. I'll put ticket information in the description below the interview. So, do you want to promote any social media you have before?
Yeah, so you can find me at Ethan Announces on Instagram and Twitter, and it's Ethan Edwards on Facebook, Odyssey Pro Wrestling for Instagram and Twitter, for Facebook and Instagram, and then OPW_UK for Twitter. And you can go back and watch our entire back catalogue of Odyssey Pro Wrestling shows. As I say, see how these stories have developed up to this point. You know, every show itself is a great show individually, but you get so much more by going back and watching, you know, how we got to this stage. A lot like, you know, I always refer to it like the MCU. Like, each individual movie is fantastic, but then you get so much more out of it when you follow that overarching story. And that's only £3 on our Patreon page.
Yeah, I'll put links in the description for everything. So, but yeah, I won't be able to make this show, but I'm hoping to either make the June show or the August show. I think that's what we're planning for. So.
Well, some interesting stuff coming up.
Yes.
Show.
Yeah. I'm just too busy in work in April. I don't usually do interviews in April because I'm so busy in work, but I thought I have to interview you.
Got to break that record.
Yes. Well, I've really enjoyed speaking to you again. I'd love to have you on again in the future. It was a lot of fun. And really good luck with this show, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think we may probably have to chat after War on the Shore just to see the state of Odyssey Pro Wrestling after War on the Shore, because we may end up knocking down a building if the fans' way.